And I am going to be a lifer. You know, this is what I'm going to be. And damn proud of it. And the only thing left for me now, we've built a pretty good basketball program. Mark D'Antonio has been very important to me. And he's building a very good football program. And as I've always done, I'm a program guy, anointed by Doug Weaver many, many years ago when I was a snot-nosed grad assistant. And when he said that, I think I've tried to live my whole life that I care as much about other people as I do myself. And I care about helping people, whether it be players, whether it be people in the community, or whether it be our own athletic department. So the mission that Hollis has decided is to make Michigan State Athletic Department one of the best in the country. And we know that there are flagship programs in every athletic department. And football and basketball and women's basketball, volleyball, hockey are kind of the flagship programs. They're the ones that make money and do things that give us the exposure, get us on TV, a lot of positive things with athletics. And so my goal is to help make this now the best athletic department in the country. And thank God I've got some good friends that are going to help me do that. So I guess I'll open it up for some incredible questions because I know you've all been chomping at the bit to ask them. And I'll try to answer them with class and dignity. Yes.
Tom, during your decision-making process, were you able to talk to LeBron?
No, I did not talk to LeBron. I talked to enough people in his camp that I felt very comfortable with. You know, he too has a very tough decision. And I felt comfortable with some of the things I needed to know. But I can appreciate what he's got to go through too. And I guess I hope in my own way that this is a stay-at-home month. You know, I'm staying at home. I kind of hope he stays at home and maybe everybody wins. But I did not speak to him directly, a lot indirectly. Yes? Oh, yeah.
Tom, you say you never talked with LeBron about this, but was there any point through these past 10 days where you looked at this and said that, you know what, maybe I should take a chance on taking this NBA job? Where you were leaning toward perhaps taking that job, and if so, what?
I'll be honest.
Change your mind.
No, if you're going to ask good questions, I'm going to give you good answers. Okay. There were so many unfactual rumors. I did what my media asked me to do. I kept my mouth shut, or to use a George Perlis saying, you know, I just kept my mouth shut, and I looked at it. And there were days when, you know, it looked like some great opportunity. And yet, there were other days when I didn't think I could leave these guys. I got a championship I think we can win. So it went back and forth, but this one day I'm having a press conference, one day I'm decided I'm going, one day I had a meeting with my players, I decided I'm going, one day I didn't. My God, I was getting confused. I don't know how in the hell you kept track, because I was confused. I woke up saying, am I going or am I staying? You know, what's the deal? And did I ever get to the point where I said I was going? No, I did not. I never got to that point.
Tom, a lot of times when we have to make life decisions, there's that aha moment, whether it's a dream, something one of your kids says to you, a note from a fan, something like that. Was there an aha moment in all of this for you that made you make the decision?
Wow. I'm not sophisticated enough to work on that deep of a question, but I would say that, you know, I talked to these guys, some, but I just informed them of what was going on. Some of the aha moments were some of my pro guys that called back and gave me input on what they thought. But maybe my last aha moment when Lupe and I were talking about it when I asked my daughter how she'd feel, and she says, well, gosh, Dad, I don't want to leave. She said, what about all her boys? And she mentioned ID and, guys from the past that spent a lot of time around us. And I said, but Raquel, you're as good at making friends as anybody. You have incredible people skills. You relate to everybody. She says, I know, Dad, but if you went there, they'd be my friend because of who you are. And here, they're my friend because of the people we've built. So I guess that was an aha moment.
Love you, Coach.
Thanks, man. See you guys. Yeah, I figured you guys are going to watch the game, right? Yeah, they get to go to the NBA game.
Tom.
Figure out, Darrell, if you can guard Kobe. I knew they couldn't stay that long. It's like classroom, the time's up. All right,
Tom,
I'm ready.
Tom, let me try to sneak a couple in real quick. If you had won a national championship the last couple of years, might this decision be different? And then also, when you talk about Spartan for life, what prompted you to make that statement that you're a lifer, that this is it?
I'm sorry, if I would have won a national championship, would have made the decision better, and what was the second part?
When you say you're going to be a lifer, Spartan for life, why do you feel necessary to say that? What prompted that decision?
Well, I don't feel it necessary to say. I think, I think it's incredibly funny that people would question my loyalty to this place. I mean, if you really got right down to it, for 11 years now, people have been telling recruits that I would be gone. I think there's 6 schools that have had 4 coaches in those 15 years. I think a couple have had 3. A lot have had 2, and nobody's had just 1. So, I didn't feel in any way like I was being disloyal to anybody. I think my loyalty speaks volumes. The first part of that, Joe, I screwed up. Yell it to me. The Final Fours. The Final Fours, the national championships. You know what? Maybe a couple years ago, winning one more would have been enough. That damn Krzyzewski guy just keeps winning them. And because of that, it keeps motivating me to try to get to more. And I like some of the things we've accomplished. But as I tell my players, you're judged on the last guy standing. It's nice to go to Final Fours. That's not how you're remembered. And so I still have some serious dreams of what I'd like to accomplish. And if I would accomplish one more last year or the year before, if it was last year, maybe it would have been closer. But the year before, he's done something different. My goal has always been to put Michigan State University in an elite spot. And I think 3 national championships for a school puts it in a top 10 list. That's getting pretty elite. And so it might have mattered some. I can't answer that because it didn't happen. But it won't matter from here on because I got enough to try to chase him and he's going to keep going and he's going to keep winning. And it's a pretty classy guy to chase. So I don't mind that chase.
Tom, when did you officially decide that this is what you wanted to do? And if you retire, you never try the NBA. Will you ever regret 10, 15 years down the line not ever chasing that dream?
When did I decide? I think we talked 2 mornings ago. We laid there and discussed that it's kind of put a crimp in all parts of my life. We just lay there and talk about things. But I think we were, talking then, and where everybody, I think Mark said this, some of this has been going on for 9 days or 10 days, whatever, when it first came out. And I understand that, but you got to understand this. I got a family too, and I got a daughter, and she's in finals Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of last week. And I told them immediately, I'm not talking to my family until that's over. I'm not trying to be Johnny academic, but her freshman year of high school, I thought that was very important. And you can ask Loopy, you can just nod your head, Loop. Is that right? I did say that, and I stuck to it. And so really I had no real contract offer. What I said was true on that. I had some parameters that I talked to him about. But until you go down there and see the facility and feel like you're part of it and get your family involved and really look at it, you got back late Thursday night, you had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And I'll be honest with you, by Friday I knew I was in trouble when I came to work, and by Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and by Monday I knew that there was a lot of things clouding the issue, and people saying things about our recruits and people calling our recruits, and I understand. I'm a big boy. I understand what you got to do. I just wish somebody would understand what I got to do. Mine's just public. There's not a person sitting down here who's lying to who. I know 90% of you. You all looked at other jobs. It just wasn't public. You all had great opportunities. And probably most of you stayed where you are, just like I have. I think it'd be a bigger mistake, and I think, Lisa, it would be, if I didn't look, I'd always wonder. I looked, and this time, I'll be honest with you, the first time I looked, I was a rookie. I mean, I didn't know anything about the NBA. This time I looked, and I looked a little more diligently. I looked to see things that I really didn't know. I don't walk around with an agent telling me everything. I had to do my investigative work and try to figure out some things that was a little more difficult. I mean, somebody from Cleveland said this is kind of a situation that's unprecedented. Because how many times is it a brand new AD or brand new GM, a new coach, and you're one of the top players in the world is in free agency? That doesn't happen very often. So there were a lot of different questions. And so I think the opportunity they offered me, I could have gone to the NBA. That's not the same as going, but thank God I worked for some people that gave me that opportunity to look. And when I looked, I decided that what my dad said to me when I was 6 years old, grass isn't always greener on the other side. And grass is pretty green here, and that's not meant in a pun way. It's pretty good. And we got a good team, and we got a chance to do some incredible things. And we've had a heck of a recruiting class. And next one is going to get even better because some of you put out there that, recruits this and recruits that. So let me tell you something. All you did infuriate me, but you motivated me. And so if that's what it's going to take to get where I want to get, that's fine. So I don't think I'll ever say I didn't try the NBA. I think it would have been a shame if I would have said I never got a chance to look at it. And if you want the truth, that's what bothered me about a lot of you. I didn't think you gave me a fair shot at times to really look at it. But at the same time, I understand. I understand about some of those editors and some of your bosses. I understand. Yeah.
I had the mic. Sorry. Wanted to ask, when you were saying just that you had not looked at opportunities, many came your way, why this one? Why did you decide to make that leap and decide to take a deeper look into this one?
Dan Gilbert was a big reason. The first time I talked to him, he motivated me. I mean, he excited me. I mean, I thought he had the same goals and passion. I thought he didn't just talk it, he walked it. And I felt something there, I really did. And I had talked to some of those people, when they drafted Shannon Brown, and I'd been down in their facility, and I guess that's the main reason. It was just a unique situation. It was still in the Midwest. That was important to Loopy and I, especially with our families and her family here. I think it was, I think everybody here would agree, a legitimate chance to win an NBA championship. There was that, and there were other things that made it intriguing. So That's why I did it. Yes.
I need to bring this up, I think, because Dr. Simon initiated this tonight, Tom, and it was sort of a blanket indictment of media, and it wasn't appreciated, and I'll tell you why. This has been going on for 9 days now.
9 days, not 9 weeks.
Well, it seems like 9 weeks to you.
To you. You made it that way.
I'm not sure who's got the longer duration here. But, Tom, this can't be covered in a vacuum. And I appreciate what Dr. Simon was saying about some of the recklessness. But if there was recklessness, then it needs to be delineated in the specific people and the specific offenders, not a blanket indictment here of media, because we took this responsibility very seriously, and we were doing it sans any comments from Michigan State University. That makes for a very difficult row to hoe.
Okay.
I hope that's understood. Now, cut to the chase, please, on LeBron James, if you can, Tom, and I know that...
Oh, wait, let's answer that question first.
Okay, please.
Let's go to that question first. Number one, you haven't been up here very often.
I've been
over the last 3 years, because you have other duties.
I've been in the state for 58 years.
No, up here. You haven't been in my building. You haven't been with me. I have great respect for you, but you have not been up here covering Michigan State basketball very often in the last 4 or 5 years that I know.
That would be correct.
Okay, so if you would have been, the media that covers me a lot, I had a big dinner for them. And I told them that things are changing in the media. You know, the bloggers drive us all nuts, drive you nuts. The people throw things on the wall, and it can affect my family. My kid comes home crying, and there's no truth to any of it. And so I did something this year with Kalen Lucas that is well known, and I can't get into the people because it's unfair, because since then I think I've rectified that with the person that I was involved with, and probably have a better relationship with him now than I used to have. But I was told that I say too much to the media, that I'm too honest, that I'm too upfront. Some of your compadres in here have told me, don't be so honest. Don't tell them too much. Don't do that. I think you got to give me a credit, the ones that were in that room. I did a hell of a job of not saying one word. I took, not to blanket you, because I think you're right. I can pick apart the people in this room. I did not appreciate your column. I did not appreciate you saying the Michigan State fans are sick of it and had it with me.
I didn't say that.
Well, how did you say it?
Well, I said it quite differently from that.
Okay, tell me what you said.
I said that if your heart had been somehow compromised by this particular overture from the Cleveland Cavaliers, then you probably owed it to yourself and to Michigan State to move on.
But I've gone so far that I can't come back. Is that right?
I said there was a part of it that would be irretrievable.
Well, so I think you gave fancy words. I just give you P words. You didn't come back. You can't come back, Tom. And I was offended, Lynn, that you would say that, because I think you've been a friend. I have great respect for your writing, but you never even knew what was going on. Try. You know how you couldn't get any information out of me? That was because the group of people decided that was best for me. And I asked, how can I do a better job for the media? Because it's out of control. I've got people that call me at 1 or 2 in the morning and say to me, I had to check on it because it was in the Red Cedar. And these are real reporters with class and dignity. And I said, you're reading that? You're going by that? I mean, if you would like after this to give me your opinion on how I could do my job better to help you, Tom, I think I've proven over 15 years I've been as media friendly and available as any coach.
And you have.
In the country. So I was offended by that, Lynn, and you gave a bunch of fancy words. The bottom line is, it went too far.
Tom, I think
you never called me.
I don't want this to degenerate into a debate between us here. So
it won't.
So and unfortunately, I contributed to that. But no, I called you last Monday, and my point is this: there was no call back last Monday. There has been absolutely no remarks made by anybody, including the president, until today. We can't just let Tom excuse me then. All right, I stand on air. I apologize, Dr. Simon. Apologize.
It's like a town hall meeting here now, and I kind of like that.
The community.
This is more like the UP now. Let's get after it a little bit. Yeah, let's get after it a little bit.
All right. Sorry. I apologize for that misunderstanding.
Let's let them talk, and then we'll answer.
To the point, we had 9 days where this thing was going on, and I understand that there was an awful lot of this.
Who made it the circus, though, me or you?
No, there was no circus, Tom. You're forgetting your profile in Michigan State's here. This was a very big national story. Don't lose perspective on where Michigan State was. And yet we were getting an absolute dearth of information from MSU during this, and from you, or from any of the other parties. Okay. It's not going to cease to be discussed. It's not going to cease to become a story.
Can I say this, Lynn? Can I say this? I want everybody here, and then we're gonna have some fun here tonight too. You know, this ain't gonna be a tooth pulling contest here. I text a few people early. You know, I ain't very good at it. You know, I just kind of one finger at a time deal. And I talked to some people early that, you know, I just couldn't go on the record with anything because of what I went through this year and what people that I respect advise me to do. Not these people. These people. And so when I text them, it was in the paper. And there was a story. And then I had other people call me and say, well, you text this person, this person, this person, and not me. Again, I'll ask you in front of everybody, how would you like me to handle that to give you a better opportunity to do that? And we're not going to answer any more questions after this one about this. We can answer anything about, but I would like to debate it with you in my office, whatever day you'd like, because if I can help do your job better, you'll make my life easier. Because your life, you think, has been hell? Lynn?
No,
let me tell you something.
No, it has not. It has not been. Don't confuse those terms. We understand, Tom, and I think there was a great deal of sympathy for what you were going through here for 9 days. Believe me, I think that's stated. I think that's on the record, and it's been written by just about all of us, including myself. That was understood. What wasn't easy, and you're going to have to please acknowledge this, is that you had an entire constituency out here, an entire fan base, and a great deal of the nation that was wondering what the heck was going on. Now, absent any information from the principals, I'm sorry, we can't shut things down. We can do our best job of reporting, we can do our best job of analysis, we can do our best job of research, and we can do our best job of trying to be absolutely responsible. I realize on the receiving end that is not an easy place to be on Michigan State side. I understand that.
Well, that was don't blame my president. I mean, she's the boss.
No.
Don't blame my AD. I told them how I was going to handle it because of my conversations with people. I told them how I was going to handle it. Now, they're the boss. I'm not. But I think they respected the fact that they understood I wasn't going to say anything. And I got great friends. I got friends 27 years here that I didn't return their calls either. And a couple that I did, I got stung. And you know, like I said, the Michigan State people, here's what I'd like to say to all of you. You know, it's like the logo to me. I'd like to say this to all of you. I've proven over 27 years to be the most loyal guy next to Mike Krzyzewski, Jim Boeheim, and I have no interest in touching Paterno. No interest in getting that far. But I'm right there with those other guys, loyal to this university, do anything those alums would ask, open, anything they would. If they can't understand that I have a family, I have life decisions to make, and because of the media now changing, I mean, I took my kid to the grocery store at 9:30 at night and it was reported in the newspaper. I struggle with that. So I think there's some guys in here I have great respect for that I've had. You're one of them. If you got a better way for me to handle it, let's do it off this stage, and I'll be great with it. I swear to God, I'm not pacifying because it made my life terrible.
By the way, I tried to attend that luncheon you had last month and was told it was just for a more exclusive crowd. But I'd have got you in. Let me get to this question because this is really what I intended to ask you tonight. Tom, as candidly as you can get to this thing, and I can get to the heart of what's gone on here for 9 days, obviously integral to this was LeBron James. Could you have made this move without the assurance that he would be there? What did it help us understand here exactly how pivotal it was, because even though we understand there was a great deal of money, it still seemed to come down to what kind of team you were inheriting, and LeBron James was going to be a 180-degree difference there either way.
I think that's 100% true. I mean, that was one of the key factors. I mean, 100% true. And